do want to talk about the economy, sir, here at home, and I wonder what grade you would give
A plus.
A plus.
Yeah, A plus, 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 plus.
Right now, people are buying their holiday presents. They're planning.
Look, don't be dramatic.
No.
Don't be dramatic.
They're planning their budgets for next year, Mr. President.
I know.
President Donald Trump is a piece of crap. And you just got a little taste of how much of a piece of crap he is in the clip that we just showed you, because while Americans are struggling economically as we're already in the middle of the holidays, he just wants you to relax and not be so dramatic about it. Who cares? I mean, why don't you just cook up a crypto scheme like he and his family did? What's wrong with you? Anyway, despite continued high prices and absolutely disastrous economic polling numbers, Trump is giving himself an A plus grade on the economy. And those comments came ahead of an event that he's doing in Pennsylvania today, specifically to tout his efforts to bring down inflation. We'll get to the reality in just a minute, but first, Cenk, your 2 cents.
Yeah, did you notice the Freudian slip by the anchor? People are buying American presidents. They are indeed. Okay, so, and then he says, don't be so dramatic. Well, then I guess Trump is the biggest drama queen there ever was. He ran a whole campaign on inflation and high prices. And now when it comes around the holiday time and people are worried about not being able to buy presents for their family, it's like, don't be so dramatic. Who cares about you? I'm already got all the power and the money, so screw you. And the rest of the story will be all of the ways that Trump is telling you that he doesn't give a goddamn about you.
I mean, Trump is the guy who responded to a video of 5 Democrats telling military members to not carry out illegal or unlawful orders with treason. They should be executed. Like, I mean, that's just the way that he didn't say that specifically, but that's what he's implying. Nonetheless, he's always stoic, not dramatic at all. Now, for the past few weeks, Trump has repeatedly called the idea of affordability a hoax and a Democrat con job. He claims that prices have actually fallen during his second term. Now, does the reality bear that out? Well, the consumer price index did rise 3% over the last 12 months. And grocery prices have also risen 1.4% between January and September, meaning during his term. And Trump's tariffs have raised American households' costs this year by around $1,500. But during this interview with Politico, Dasha Burns asked Trump to respond to one of his own supporters criticizing the state of the economy. Remember, this is someone who voted for Trump, so hopefully he handles it delicately. But unsurprisingly, he dismisses her concerns. Let's take a look.
I talked to a supporter of yours. Her name is Melanie from Westmoreland County, PA, and she loves you. She gave you overall an A++ grade. But here's what she said about the economy. She said, quote, groceries, utility, insurance, and the basic cost of running small business keep rising faster than wages. She also says that not enough is being done. Mr. President, this is one of your supporters.
Okay, good, and I love her because you said I got an A+ on everything, I guess, I don't know. But
she's still worried about the economy.
But what you have to understand, the word affordability, I inherited a mess. I inherited a total mess. Prices were at an all-time high when I came in. Prices are coming down substantially. Look at energy. You and I discussed before the interview, energy has come down incredibly. Prices are all coming down. It's been 10 months. It's amazing what we've done.
So, Cenk, do you think it's amazing what they've done? Because I have some numbers that kind of contradict what you just heard from him.
Yeah, of course it's not amazing what they've done. You know why? Because they literally didn't do anything. All they did was actually, to be fair, they did do 2 things. They did nothing to help is the real answer. One was a giant tax cut for the rich. Well, that was supposed to work, right? Republicans always say supply side economics, Laffer curve. So it's supposed to be trickling on you as we speak. That's weird. It didn't help you at all. It only helped the rich who got those tax cuts. Of course, they gave away tons of money to Israel. That was never going to help you. And then they did the tariffs, and the tariffs increased prices rather than decrease prices. And is he trying desperately to help you now? No. And as you're going to see later in the story, well, if you help the farmers so much and you're so pro-farmer, why did you have to give them another subsidy? So no, this has been, as usual, both for Trump and really honestly for almost all politicians in our lifetimes. They are not here to help you, they're here to rob you.
Well, he has spent so much time deflecting and placing blame on Joe Biden for handing him like an economic mess, that even his aides are now trying to get him to stop doing that. They're like begging him to stop doing that because it's not really playing well with his own base. It's not playing well with anyone who's experiencing this economic situation. So one of those advisors told CNN, Joe Biden is no longer a threat to them because he's out of office. He's never going to be in office again. You've got to feel their pain. You've got to talk about it every day. Now, that's what a leader who genuinely, sincerely cares about the economic suffering of his own people, the American people. That's what he would do. But that's not what's being done right now. And they're desperately trying to change course because the American people really aren't buying what Trump is selling. So in a Yahoo YouGov poll conducted in late November, 49% of respondents said that Trump has done more to increase prices. That's amazing. Well, 24% said he's done more to lower prices. So clearly, the percentage of Americans who feel that prices have risen under Trump because of Trump is much higher. And his claims that the economy is flourishing seems to also be contradicted by the fact that he just announced a $12 billion bailout for farmers who have been hurt by Trump's pretty extensive and expansive tariffs, right? So soybean farmers in particular have been harmed by his tariffs policy. In fact, farm bankruptcies rose by nearly 50% through the first 9 months of 2025 compared with the same time period last year. Soybean farmers, as I mentioned, have been hurt the hardest. And it's because of this US-China trade war.
You know what TYT's always been about? Taking on the corrupt, greedy establishment. For us, it's the corporate media. We've been fighting that fight for over 20 years. For the cell phone industry, it's the same story. A handful of massive corporations ripping you off. That's why we're partnering with Noble Mobile. They're the only wireless company with the same mission as ours, to fight back. Their No Bull plan offers unlimited data for just $50 a month. But here's the best part. For any data you don't use, you get cash back. Real money you can spend however you want. Stop letting your unused data pad the pockets of billionaires. With Noble, you take control over your data. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT in our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan.
The Trump administration's tariffs on China earlier this year cut Beijing's imports of US soybeans from their usual 29 million metric tons of beans annually to zero until a deal was reached at the end of October. But even though there is this shaky deal in place, the trade war did significantly hurt these farmers, and that damage is really hard to come out of. So ABC News reports that soybean prices still lagged because of stifled demand, and farmers saw their third straight year of losses, in large part due to tariff turmoil. So the Trump administration is throwing farmers a temporary lifeline to help pay down their debts and finance next year's planting season. Now, if you're wondering what exactly does this package include, it includes $11 billion in one-time payments to crop farmers through a new Department of Agriculture bridge payment program. The remaining funds will then go to other crops not covered by that program. And by the way, the unemployment data isn't looking good either. Just to give you the numbers real quick, forecasters surveyed by the firm FactSet predict that employers added fewer than 38,000 jobs in November, and that the unemployment rate ticked up to 4.5% from September's 4.4%. That would be low by historical standards, but the highest in nearly 4 years. And we don't have data from October because of the government shutdown. We didn't get a jobs report. But according to the Economic Policy Institute, the Trump administration radically restricted Bureau of Labor Statistics operations during the government shutdown. And the administration now says they won't be issuing an October report retroactively either. And to be fair, if I were a president embarrassed by the jobs numbers, I probably would do the same thing Trump's doing.
Yeah. So let's talk about the farmers first. I help the farmers. The tariffs really help the farmers. Well, we did a $10 billion bailout for them about a year ago. Now we're doing a $12 billion bailout. So if you help the farmers so much, why did you have to give them a $22 billion bailout? By the way, in his first term, he also had to give the farmers a $23 billion bailout. You know what's not free market economics? When you do dumbass policies and then you have to give giant subsidies to make up for your dumbass policies. That's actually very close to central planning, which is socialism. Okay, I'll take away from this part of the economy, I'll give to that part of the economy, I'll pick favorites, I won't let the markets work the way that they're supposed to. What happened to all the tough guys on the right? They were talking about like, well, hey, if you can't pay the bills, then you should go out of business, and that's the way the market works. Now, if you're a Trump supporter or it's gonna hurt him politically, he's like, yeah, my policies suck, they're stupid, that's why you're losing all this money, and you're all literally 50% of the farmers are about to go bankrupt. 50% of the farmers in the country. So he's like, all right, I'll make up for it with a giant subsidy. Okay, then obviously it was a huge problem by definition. You can't argue that it wasn't, right? Of course, that never stops anyone, but that's true. Second of all, what did he ever do for you? Can anyone that is a Trump supporter, I don't want to say on the right, because he's lost about half the right, but half the right still say no. If Trump ran for a third term, I'd vote for him to be, I don't care about the Constitution, I'll burn it for Trump, right? So for that half of the Trump voters, what did he do for you? His main claim to fame is tariffs. And the tariffs are so disastrous, they're driving up all your prices and they're forcing the government to give tens of billions of dollars in subsidies to the farmers. So what did he do for you? Almost nothing, but it's okay as long as he's on my team. And look, guys, we're the fairest show in America. We're totally nonpartisan in this way. What did Biden do for us? He kept promising, oh, no, don't worry, later I'll increase wages. Later I'll do something about drug prices. Later. And he didn't do anything because they all are here to rob us. And what did you, he bragged about Bidenomics. People should know how great our economy is. And so he sounded like Trump with his A++++. The Transcendental Man on Super Chat, I think, has it more correct. He says, I have dementia, plus. No one's better at dementia than Donald Trump. Look, I don't know if the brother has dementia or not, but he's been bragging about that cognitive test for now like 10 years. I'm so smart, I passed the dementia test. Are you, brother? So that's why you have these dumbass policies that never help America. So guys, last thing on this. I would be shocked if we did not have an epic economic collapse under Trump. He has no idea what he's doing. He's not even trying to help you. And there's only so much you could rob the country before it collapses. So I hate to tell you this, but buckle up, brace for impact. There's gonna be significant economic pain in the next 3 years.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.